Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now. First with all three of us, the new year. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Man over there's at Fuzzy Chris 91, Christopher Perez, and at Ant Rivera 86 all the way down. We switched it up a little bit because Chris is going to be playing center today. We'll have Ant on the right wing and me on the left wing. Nonetheless, good to have the whole family back together. Today, I would say today is the last day for Happy New Year. So, Ant, since I haven't really seen you yet, Happy New Year.
Yes.
Now we're a weekend. We're done. I've said to people, if I see you, if I haven't seen you since last year, Martin Luther King weekend, I don't want to hear Happy New Year.
The thing is, when you're at work too, it's like, how much do you send out emails saying Happy New Year? Like, how long do you drag it out for? And I'm like, I think we're good now.
Can I be honest? I had to send an email. I was talking to Chris right before the show about, and I actually started with Happy New Year. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're a little too, we don't need to do that anymore. But nonetheless, here we are. It is Total Hockey Now. We're going to be doing a lot of fantasy content today, and then we'll run the board for the Thursday slate here. Very excited, 12-game slate. We'll talk a little fantasy goaltending. We will give our recommendations for fantasy bounce back candidates for the remainder of the fantasy regular season. Also, I will not gush about Macklin Celebrini's fantastic effort to both tie and then the defense, the play he made to keep the puck in the zone and then the shot, the weaving through, that's fantastic. Get used to that. But the play he made in overtime, the little pick play at the blue line to get the puck across the line, and he drags it behind him, and then he finds Eklund. I'm going on Saturday to watch him play Dallas. I haven't been this excited to go to a rink and watch a player consistently. I can't since Henrik Lundqvist probably.
It must be nice to see talent that kind of elite talent up front. It's been a minute in the Bay Area there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Listen, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I mean, Macklin Celebrini is Canadian, by the way. So
the fact that maybe it did a little something for him when you find out, when Sidney Crosby was asked, who do you want to skate with at the Olympics? And he says your name and you're 19 years old. That's got to do a little something for you too.
That's a good time.
Adam, you weren't in the area when they made their cup run, right? You came
after.
I
moved here 3 months after that. It was 3 months after they had made their cup run. So I just missed that.
So you're the curse.
Maybe.
And now you get to see him back on the rise again. You get to see the young kids in action. You get to see a possible superstar in the making.
It's fun hockey to watch. I got a few more games on the docket this year, but they're not playing tonight. The Sharks are off till that Saturday game against Dallas. They got a back-to-back this weekend. We'll get to all the teams playing tonight later. But first thing I wanted to bring up here, and at the beginning of every week, fantasy-wise, is when you really start to go through the rosters. What do I need to change? Who got placed on IR? All that stuff. And I like a lot of elite people, I could use help in the goaltending department because overall it's been, let's say the bar has been dropped, and we're going to show some stats for that in a minute. And it led me to ask this question: is Dan Vladar a good goalie? And in real life, fantasy-wise, he's actually having a pretty solid year. What we're gonna do first, though, is we're gonna look at just who the top 10 by ADP were, and then what they've done this year so far. So these are your top 10 goalies taken by ADP. Connor Hellebuck obviously hasn't been the greatest year in Winnipeg. Can't totally blame him. But when you take a guy in the top 10, you're hoping he's doing better than tied for 34th in wins, even missing some time due to injury. Andrei Vasilevsky has, he's probably been the one goalie to really just hold his value in terms of where he was picked, and especially comparatively to the rest of the field. Jake Ottinger, the goals against and the save percentage concerned me a little bit there, being so low and being a guy taken in the top 20. Igor Shesterkin, we know what the problems are with the Rangers. It's not him. And now, he's going to be out for a bit. They did avoid, worst case scenario with him. But, I'm not going to. The other thing we're not going to get into today is the fact that the Rangers are considering Kiefer Sherwood and planning to offer a first for Kiefer Sherwood. We're going to ignore that. Mackenzie Blackwood, who, what was funny is I remember the draft, Chris was like, I got stuck with the Avalanche handcuff, and it was almost like I guess I'll have to deal with it. And they are by far the best fantasy goalie. Wedgwood and Blackwood together, you're probably winning a lot of those categories every week. Gustafson is
I
doing
was pretty
fine.
sad that I didn't get Gustafson, and look how that worked. You know what I mean?
And like you look at Bobrovsky, his numbers have not been good. He's starting against Montreal tonight. We'll talk about that later. Gustafson has been solid, has been very good, but if you don't have Wallstead, it's like only having half a goalie. So Darcy Kemper has been banged up, but he's been doing okay. Aiden Hill's been hurt the whole year. Stolars has been hurt the whole year. Sorokin and Thompson. So there's your top 12. Now,
these guys aren't on the list. Let me just say this real quick. But the New Jersey Devils tandem that I took so often during my mock drafts, I am very happy that I did not take them in the real fantasy draft.
Yeah, that's not been a good year for the Devils. Now, and just in the net in general, and there needs to be some shakeups there. We can talk about trade deadline stuff. We'll have some, the weeks for the Olympics. We'll be hitting that heavy. Now let's look at the top 12 currently, and there you see who's holding up. And like we said, Dan Vladar, there he is, showing up in the top 12. So having a good fantasy season there. Scott Wedgwood, we talked about. Sorokin doing well. Shesterkin, Logan Thompson. I know, and a lot of Logan Thompson, you might be like, Logan Thompson's top. Well, he was so strong that first, we'll say, month to 6 weeks of the season that's helped balancing out his recent play.
Yeah, because he's lost 4 in a row for me. So
yeah, so again, Team Canada again. That just goes to show how good Canada is. Like they have, I don't want to say dog crap goaltending, but and they're still going to win. Like in the United States, is the opposite. They have far and away the best goaltending of the teams participating. And not to say they're not going to win, but I don't know. It's like it seems like anyway. We'll talk Olympics later. Andre Vasilevsky, we talked about holding up. There's Spencer Knight. Despite the Blackhawks up and downs, and there's Jake Ottinger. So for you guys on your respective fantasy teams, who's disappointed you? Who have you had struggled to? You're holding on to. Like for me right now, Lucas Dostal, who we talked about people that got off to a really strong start and have been dog poo lately. I mean, it's the Ducks team as a whole, but Dostal has gone from like a guy that I would, if you would have said I was going to drop him in January, I would have said you were crazy 2 months ago. And now it's like, what's out there?
Are we just saying both just disappointment or both disappointment and good?
Whatever. The floor is yours. We can do love and hate here. So
I think the disappointment for me, and I know he's up here, he's doing well, but as of recently, Logan Thompson has just not been good. I do have Dustin Wolf as well. And the writing was on the wall with how Calgary was playing, but he kind of turned it around a little bit. Now it's back to giving up 4 goals a game. Dan Vladar, I picked up halfway through the season, and I don't know how he was still on waivers there or why he was still a free agent, but I picked him up and he has been my best goaltender and has helped out my goaltending stats since I picked him up, and he's been very, very good, and I'm happy that I was able to get him.
Yeah, that's more than fair. I think what this list has provided all of us is that goalies are voodoo. We have no idea what's happening. When you see goalie rankings, that's basically like playing the lottery. You just hope things go well. If you invested any type of stock, Andre Vasilevsky hasn't been terrible. It's been better of late, but obviously it's not, top 5 worthy. You can say the same thing for Jake Ottinger. Has been, terrible. He can't stop a puck, and he's on a team that is way too good for him to be that bad. But I guess you're getting away a little bit with Mackenzie Blackwood. Like I said, I lucked into it, and it's like a lot of these numbers are backed by the fact that the Colorado Avalanche are an absolute wagon. Like they propel that. And sometimes this is still a team game, right? Like you're going to get those moments where, yes, goalies are going to benefit from the team that they play on. And the best example being Sergei Bobrovsky. He's tied for 3rd in wins, but not because of him. He is definitely not helping his team succeed. It's been tough. The bounce back for Sorokin has been very good, but it goes as well with how they play. The Islanders are a good team, which I didn't think we would say. Again, don't feel bad if you don't get the goalie that you want. Some of it is luck, but it's definitely refreshed my memory. So when I get to the next fantasy draft, I lock in a little bit more and say, hey, do I want to target players first and then maybe kind of crapshoot a little bit later on goalies? Do I still want to invest in guys that are like at the top, right? Those pillar goalies on the bounce back, or am I just punting it and saying, hey, let's see these borderline teams, which goalies start, try to go on these hot runs kind of thing. It requires more time, but sometimes that's how you win championships.
Well, the thing is too, like, the guy at number 4 in our draft took Connor Hellebuck, and now he's out. Like, there are some strategies to getting these goalies. I feel like next year is a more kind of wait and see, and then they'll probably be good again. And then we're back to drafting goalies at the top. It's like you said, it's a crapshoot. My brother has Shesterkin and Sorokin, and now Shesterkin's out, and he's searching for another goalie. So it's just really tough trying to pick out these goalies because, one, you don't know what the injury status is with a lot of them, and then we've gotten some poor play from a lot of what we thought are very good goalies, and it's just not been a good year for goaltending.
Listen, your brother can pace out because he is giving me an absolute whopping this week. I am getting absolutely taken advantage of. He's taken me out to the back of the barn and putting the barrel to my head and saying, hey, we're done here. That's what's happening to me. So, as brother, if you could slow down a little bit here, that'd be great. Thanks.
I have a trade to Frank, so he needs to check that out and see if he's interested. Now, we got a question in the chat that's interesting that I want to get to in a minute. But before we do that, let's to have the full scope. Here's some other things, random goalie facts I found. Karel Vejmelka is tied for the league lead in wins. UC Saros, Dan Vladar, Jeremy Swayman all tied for 6th. I don't think we would have expected that. Brandon Bussey is a name we've talked about in previous weeks here, talking about the Hurricanes, but look at that stat line: 15-2-1, 229 goals against, 906 save percentage, 6 for 6 shootout attempts at save for Carolina this season. Philip Grubauer ranked 2nd in save percentage at 926. Wasn't necessarily expecting that. The Kraken lately have been hot. They got the Wild coming to town tonight. Kevin Lankinen is 17 for 17 in shootout attempts. Could be helpful for Olympic betting purposes. And top 5 in saves overall: Igor Shesterkin, UC Saros, Dustin Wolf, Jeremy Swayman. Actually, I gave you 12 and forgot to put that up to 12, but nonetheless, Shesterkin, Saros, Wolf, Swayman, Jet Greaves, Spencer Knight, Logan Thompson, Karel Vejmelka, my guy Yaroslav Askarov, and Philip Gustafsson. So there you go, some random coke.
Can I just say, because you put up the top saves, and I'm glad that you did that, because I know a lot of it is like, how many wins is my goalie going to get? But if you're in a stats category like we are, maybe you don't get the win category, but you get top saves. Like, he's saving the most. Sometimes some teams that win, like I think I had Logan Thompson save 20, maybe 15 saves in one game. Sometimes if you get the save percentage, you get the attempt and saves. Sometimes you can get away with winning your categories without actually having to get a win for your goalie.
Now, that's a nice segue to our question here, because wins sometimes is a category I'm willing to punt, but there are leagues where they are win premium leagues and wins get heavily valued, kind of like this question we have here. Hey, gents, this is at Lucio Mancuso 1107. Hey, gents, fantasy hockey question. Settings are wins +4 saves. Wins are +4, saves are +0.6, shutout +0.6. Losses -2, goals allowed -2. That's another thing too. When you get into these leagues where losses can hurt you, but goals allowed can hurt you, that really just kind of like, there's a lot that needs to go into that. So and he's got an interesting question here. He wants us to rank these 3: Tristan Jarry, Linus Ullmark. That's right, there's 4 of them here: Lucas Dostal and Dan Vladar. So there are 4 goalies there he wants us to rank. And yeah, with Jarry being in Edmonton now, you have to really think about it. This is, as Ned Flanders once said, a dilly of a pickle.
I think at this moment in time, if you have Vladar, he's got 16 wins on the season. He leads those 4. So I kind of would have to put him at the top at the moment.
Philly is not a bad team. They're not necessarily a good team. They're going to give you a chance every night. And as the season goes on too, like, at the beginning of the year, you would have said Lucas Dostal is the top of this list 100%. Wouldn't even think about it. Now, do you put him 3rd? Do you put him 4th? Because, Tristan Jarry in Edmonton, I don't know. I would say Vladar is probably, in this situation, if you're trying to balance everything out, the most consistent of the 4 is Vladar. I would go with him. as your top on the rank? Who do you got second?
I would take Vladar first. There's he is head shoulders above those other three. It's not even close. So he is the start. Tristan Jarry is second just because he plays for the Edmonton Oilers. He'll pick up more wins. He also is not going to have anybody challenging him for that spot. The Oilers didn't go out and trade for him so he can sit on the bench. It's not Calvin Pickard who's going to take his job. Calvin Pickard played well once, good, but he's not chasing him. Connor Ingram, we'll see how that goes. But to me, it's Vladar 1, Jarry is 2. I will give the benefit of the doubt to Dostal at 3, and then Ullmark at 4.
I mean, you've never been an Ullmark guy, so.
And I own him in one league, and I hate every moment of it. I look at him, I understand he's dealing with stuff. He needs personal time, fine. But even when he was on the ice, it wasn't very good. Now, this has been, since coming over to Ottawa, he has not been good. This is not a small sample size for Ullmark. He is terrible. Dostal, it hurts now. It does. But he also has nobody to challenge him. He's in the same category as Jarry. It's not Peter Mrazek. Let's remember that, because every time he's in goal, just bet the over and bet the team he's playing against. That is an easy parlay there to single gamer. And it's
now
not.
Mrazek's on the IR. So
now Mrazek's on the IR. Who's that other former Detroit goalie that's backing him up there?
Billy Husso.
Billy Husso, another name nobody cares about. So, the Ducks, I know a lot of people love the Ducks going into the year. I was not one of them. And then they got off to that torrid start. And now we're seeing that they're a young team. And the learning curve is tough. And they are getting obliterated. They're giving up way too many quality shots. And the goaltending is just not bailing them out. It's as simple as that. I think there'll be some correction, right? They're not going to be this terrible forever. But to answer Elam's question, to me, it's Vladar by a mile.
Yeah.
Jarry and Dostal, right? A ton of crap. Ullmark.
Since December 9th, Vladar has 9 starts. He's only given up, I'm not even going to say 3 or more. He's only given up 3 goals twice. So the rest of the games, either 2 goals or 1 goal. I mean, every opportunity he's given this team a chance to win, and he's won 6 of those 9 games.
Evgeny Malkin, by the way, we'll get to the games later. He's going to return to the lineup tonight for the Penguins. Just another reason to maybe fade the Devils. A little tease on where I'm going there later. Also, Brad Marchand out tonight for the Florida Panthers against the Montreal Canadiens. We'll also get to that game in a little bit. Before we do that, though, we talked about doing this last week, and then we didn't get around to it. Our fantasy bounce back candidates for this year, for the remainder of the calendar year. And my guy here that maybe I know that somebody in the league was trying to pursue, he will remain nameless. So that way, it's important to, not reveal those things. But Clayton Keller, he's on pace to miss the 30-goal plateau for the first time since 2021-22. I don't think that happens. He's averaged 4 goals per calendar month, but he's also been without Logan Cooley for the last month. He comes back in a month. So I think you're going to get a little bit of a surge there once Cooley comes back in the lineup. He's going to Team USA. I think he gets a little boost coming out of that too, for the stretch run there for the remainder of the regular season and the fantasy playoffs. So, maybe not a total deep sleeper bounce back candidate, but guy that maybe hasn't lived up to his ADP and his I think they'll get going again. I think it's just Utah. They miss Cooley more than maybe we realized.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's at the same time, the Utah Mammoth are not exactly a high-flying offensive machine. Their power play struggles, that obviously holds Keller and the gang back. The loss of Logan Cooley hurts because the center depth is not elite. There are holes down the middle for this team. It's been trying. Obviously, all of us are big fans here of Clayton Keller. We've each drafted him in every single mock draft possible. And I don't think he has forgotten how to score goals. That's not what happened. He also plays in a very competitive division. So there's so many games that he has to play against top-tier goaltending. Even if, Ottinger is terrible and Hellebuck is not him, they're still good goalies. And the teams in front of them are still really good. So He is definitely a good bounce back candidate. If you're trying to find somebody who you want to buy low on, see if an owner starts to panic a little bit, he's been sitting, waiting, and he doesn't want to wait it out anymore. Very, very good buy low candidate.
All right, so there's one. I will leave the floor to you guys. Who wants to go next with this?
And I feel like it's only fair that you let out your pain.
Yeah, I know everyone wants me to say Jacob Markstrom, right? I know that
That's
everyone
I
wants.
don't expect that.
Everyone wants me to say that, but
if you did, I might have to question it.
he has just been bad ever since putting on the Devils jersey and him giving up those 9 goals. I don't know if I see any turnaround coming. And maybe he's hurt. I don't know what it is. He just has not been good since coming over. I had more confidence and faith in Chris's guy Jake Allen than I do in Jacob Markstrom. See, I'm torn here because, part of me wants to say Clayton Keller's teammate, Nick Schmaltz, because as you remember, he got off to a really hot start and he has gone the opposite way. So, I expect him to have another one of these bursts at some point in the season. It's either between him or can I throw Braden Point in there? Because,
yes,
Braden
absolutely.
Point has not been, he's on my team and he's been good as of lately, but man, did he get off to one of the most roughest starts for a top 20 to some
pick.
Could say top 10 pick. And he has just been not good. Not good to his standards.
I wish I had thought of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, we'll go with Braden Point here. We'll switch it up. We'll do Braden Point, and I really do hope he can, get to a bit. He's only got 10 goals in the season, 16 assists. I expect more from Braden Point. This is not the type of player that he is.
No, that's definitely fair. I think it's bounce back to where it's like, yes, he's a good player, but he's not, as you said, playing to the level that we expected him when you drafted him there. He was probably your second pick somewhere on the turn.
I think he was.
Yeah. So that's the type of production you're looking for. And it's not like the Tampa Bay, again, rough start. Point was part of that, but he still plays with Kucherov most nights. They have dealt with some injuries. It hasn't been great, but winning teams win. That's what it is. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are still a good team. They still have an elite head coach. Again, top goal scorers don't forget how to score. Sometimes it's just the puck doesn't go in. So if you want to bank on somebody who can turn it around in the environment that they're in, right? The Tampa Bay is not a defense first kind of team. They are a heavy puck possession. They'll move the puck up the ice. I think the loss of Hedman also hurts their overall play, but I would, yes, fantastic. Another fantastic target.
And just to put the cap on that, he's as of late playing much better, but he was so bad to start the season. He's got, considering where he was taken, he's still got work to do to make up for that. He's getting there though. And I think he will get there. And I have him in multiple leagues that it would be, but he was never a guy you can't drop Braden. Just had to deal with it.
No, people were even thinking about trading as most recently too. And I'm like, I don't know if I could give up on Braden Point just yet.
But the fact that Team Canada put him on the squad no matter what, even despite that, where Team Canada could have omitted him because they have so much talent, and people might have been upset about it, but not. It would have been understandable. No, they're still bringing him to Milan. So that tells you everything we need to know right there. Now, Chris, I believe yours is coming from the blue line. Not mistaken.
That is correct. I was very high on Mackenzie Weegar coming into the season, and it has been a struggle for Calgary, but it's also been a struggle for him. And again, I've said this a million times. The plus minus is the most useless number on the face of the earth. It does not matter. But when you start to be an outlier amongst your teammates, then it becomes an issue. And Mackenzie Weegar is an outlier, right? Today, he sits at minus 20, which again, he's got to play tough opponents. And I understand that most nights, but, he was minus 3 against Montreal. And, you could see why it's at times. I have him bouncing back for a multitude of reasons. I don't think his point total is going to be anywhere near where I want it to be. I don't know if he's going to surpass that 50-point plateau, which is what I want my defenseman to hit. but the peripherals are starting to be there. He is starting to take more shots. I also believe if Calgary is really a seller and they move on from Rasmus Anderson, then that gives Weegar like the whole world. That's his blue line after that. Right. Like that's who I can see the target. Even with Zane Parekh being there, I mean, watching him at the World Juniors was an absolute pleasure, but the defensive game needs a lot of work, and I think he'll be the first to tell you that. His offensive skill is there, but defensively, again, it's going to be a work in progress, and that's fine. The kid is, 18, 19? Like, he'll get there. So this is a good spot down the stretch for Weegar to play, again, a ton of minutes, be counted on to play against the opposing team's best players, which means block shots. He also throws his weight around. He can be one of those players that hit those categories that you like. So for a defenseman, if I get 100 shots out of him, 100 hits, 100 blocks, I can live with that. It's not where I want him to be. I was expecting the point total to be higher, maybe some of those peripherals as well. But for a second half, if I can collect close to those numbers in 40 some odd games, I'd be happy with it.
There we go. So there's your 3 fantasy bounce back candidates. So we got Kenzie Weegar on the blue line, Clayton Keller on the wing, Braden Point up front. Earlier in the episode, we talked about just the overall state of fantasy goaltending. So make sure you go back and check that out if you haven't. We got a regular who I haven't heard from a while, Marek. Hey guys, happy New Year to all. He makes the cutoff as we discussed earlier. Today you're fine. Tomorrow I don't want to hear it. One more. We got about a minute before we get to our Thursday picks. Lucio Mancuso 1107 at Lucio Mancuso 07 with one more question here. I dropped Darnell Nurse for Brant Clark, banking on upside thoughts. Settings are goal is 6.5, assist is 4.5, power play points 1 point, shorthanded points 1 point, shot on goal 0.7, hit 0.7, block 1. Here's my issue with Brant Clark is last year was is this the year he's going to take the step? Okay, maybe we were premature. Now again, and he's got 5-14 on the season, but he hasn't had a run yet where it's like, all right, I'm going to get on that train now. You know, and it's like, you don't want to wait too long because everybody's waiting for Brant Clark to take that step, and you want to make sure you have him when he does. And listen, we know Darnell Nurse's contract stinks, but he's going to get you the value and hits. He's going to get playing time. He's going to get points by accident being in Edmonton. So right now, I would probably lean Nurse and just keep an eye on Clark. And then once he has a game, back on the 23rd and 27th, he had points in 2 games in a row. If you start seeing him getting points in 3 of 5 or something like that, like maybe that train is coming, then you get on him. But that would be my take.
I think it is interesting. The upside is definitely there for Clark. Let's not get it twisted.
Of course.
Darnell Nurse is just an absolute plug in every way, shape, or form. Here's the problem with Clark. He is hamstringed by his own team because they just refuse to give him the opportunity that he deserves, right? Drew Doughty still quarterbacks the top power play unit. The Kings as a team are not very good offensively. They don't generate nearly enough offense, and that is a concern. They're good defensively, but the offense is stagnant, completely stagnant. Most nights it's not great. He's also not playing enough ice time. Like most nights he's under 20 minutes. You can catch him under 18 sometimes. And in an ideal world, I want my defenseman, especially in fantasy, to be playing 22 minutes plus with some power play time. Because if he's not playing enough, then he's not taking enough shots. Even if he does block shots and hit, it's not enough to make up the difference. And again, the Kings are going to shelter him completely. So if I would say this, if Darnell Nurse is not a player you need in your lineup every single night, like if he's your 4th kind of guy, depending on if you're in a 4 or 5 defenseman league, if he's the 4th guy and you want to chase the upside, do so, right? If you need Nurse in your lineup every night, right, to try to generate something, then I keep Nurse because he's still an Edmonton Oiler. So he can still give the puck to McDavid and sit back, right? Which Clark doesn't have that opportunity. But again, Clark is just hot. He's playing on a team that just doesn't want to give him the upside.
All right, there we go. So we love taking your fantasy questions here. You can also reach out to the show, totalhockeynow@gmail.com. comment on our YouTube page, or just get us on Twitter. Yeah, we have all that stuff there. But we are getting the 5:36 on the East Coast here, so that means it's time for one thing. Yes, let's get going, folks. We got a 12-game slate here, and first up on the docket tonight is going to be, or at least for our purposes here, we're going to do the Panthers at the Canadiens here. Going for the Florida Panthers is Sergei Bobrovsky versus Samuel Montembeault. Florida winless in 5 of its last 8. Montreal has a 6-game winning streak against the Panthers. As mentioned a little while ago, no Brad Marchand for the Panthers tonight. It would be easy to take the Canadians right now, but I'm staying away from this game. There's something I don't know. I've got a weird feeling about it.
Damn, I was expecting more out of it. Here's the problem: the Montreal Canadiens are playing the tail end of a back-to-back. Sam Montembeault's in net. That's the main issue. I know that he is a little bit better than he was, but that's not saying much. And at the same time, Brad Marchand not being in the lineup, water remains wet. He will not answer for his actions against Mike Matheson. Everybody saw this coming. I didn't elbow him in the streets. I didn't catch Marchand walking and accidentally trip him. So, but yes, very convenient that he's not in the lineup. I will lean on the over here just because Bobrovsky's numbers are not very good. I can't take the Canadiens to win. Even if they've won 6 against the Panthers, it's remarkable that they've been able to do this. But I'm going to take the over. The Montreal Canadiens do give up a lot of scoring opportunities at home. The Panthers still have offense, right? That's not a question. It's just Bobrovsky's not very good, and there's no way I'm trusting Montembeault. So I'll take the over here.
Over 6.5, -135 over at DraftKings. Panthers -112 on the money line. Slight road favorites. Canadians -108 there.
I'm with you, Adam. I'm going to stay away from this. I got to be very picky with the games that I choose here because ever since week 5, I have had only one winning record. So yeah, I really have to be picky.
You're still 25-21 on the season, though. So you're still up there. Last week, when we did our New Year's Day picking there, Chris went 4-2. He is 39-35 on the season. I went 5-3. I'm up to 47-1 on the season. So updating you what we got on our records there. Next up, we got the Calgary Flames at the Boston Bruins. Flames are on a back-to-back after playing in Montreal last night. They dropped that one 4-1. It's going to likely be Devin Cooley versus Eunice Korpisalo. Flames are on a 3-game losing streak and have been outscored 13-5 during that run. Bruins -130 on the money line at home. Flames +110. Road dogs. Total 6.5 here. I don't love Calgary when it's not Dustin Wolf. Bruins have been playing much better lately. Give me the Bruins on the money line -130. I'd also lean over here too with the goalie matchup, but I do like the Bruins on the money line.
Listen, Devin Cooley is actually an upgrade from Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf, when he goes on the road, he forgets how to play hockey. He gets lit up like a Christmas tree. His goals against average entering last night was like 3.97 or something, and pretty sure he gave up 4. So I don't know what happens, but when he leaves the Saddle Dome, the house of cards falls. The over might be a little bit of a stretch here because Calgary is just not great offensively. I will take the Bruins, though. It's a little bit of that being -130 is a little bit disrespectful. Flames coming in on a back-to-back, one of the worst teams. I know it's Eunice Korpisalo, but still, man, that's -130 is a little disrespectful there.
First game home from a 5-game road trip too. Maybe that home cooking gets them going too. So
yeah, Dustin Wolf's I think giving up 4 goals in 3 straight games. So yeah, he needs a night off so that Cooley can play. Yeah, I'll stay away from this one as well.
Not a bad couple of games to stay away from early. Although I think the Bruins get it done at home tonight because they're a solid team there. So there we go. Next on the docket, we got the Ducks at the Hurricanes. Another 7:00 Eastern puck drop here. It's going to be in net according to Daily Faceoff. Fresh because he's not available. Freddie Anderson going tonight for the Hurricanes. Nothing confirmed for the Ducks yet, but probably Ville Husso. Anaheim on a 7-game winless streak, 0-6-1. Nikolai Ehlers, 8 points in his last 5 games, 3 goals and 5 assists. If you're looking to take any of these teams on the money line, Carolina's minus 218, Anaheim plus 180, road dogs, total 6.5. I'm actually going to grab the Hurricanes puck line here at plus 115 at Caesars, cover that puck and a half. This is more of a fade of how terrible the Ducks have been lately. During this winless streak, the Ducks have only covered this puck line twice. They've also only covered this puck line in 3 of their 19 regulation losses this season. I wish the Ducks were giving me a reason to take a stab, because tonight's the night they finally get off the snide. Carolina's too strong. Give me the Hurricanes here with the puck, the cover their puck and a half.
Listen, it's the mortgage on the over. In some places you're already seeing it at 7. That's what the market thinks of whoever starts for the Ducks and Frederik Andersen. Once the Carolina Hurricanes figure out that Freddie Andersen is washed, they will be better. Like, I know it's been a rough start for Boosie in January, right? Numbers aren't great, but still, Freddie Andersen's numbers this season have been terrible. So I don't know why they keep running him out there. Probably, I don't know, bring up another body instead of Freddie Andersen. Chekhov getting hurt was not ideal. This is the over, and it's not close. I can't trust Freddie Andersen to keep this game close. It could be a wild game, absolutely, but the Ducks can still score. The problem is defending. Just all the over, and I don't even think we need to wait 3 periods before we get there.
I don't know if I've seen a 7 yet this season. I mean, I'm not tracking that, but that 7 is available at Caesars. The under minus 135. Over 6.5, the best number you can find right now is Bet Rivers minus 139.
Which is saying something when you're starting to push, minus 140 on 6.5.
Yeah. I'm sold on it. I'm right there with Chris. I'm taking that over 6.5. Let's go.
I mean, does it really matter who the Ducks start tonight? Because that's the other part of the equation.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not against the Hurricanes.
There we go. So we got a couple of over bets and a puck line cover there. So everybody's got action on Anaheim, Carolina at 7:00 Eastern. We roll through these 7:00 Eastern puck drops here. Next up, we got the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Flyers. Austin Matthews got a 3-game point streak, 28 points in 22 games all time against Philly. John Tavares has a 5-game goal drought. The much talked about on this podcast today, Dan Vladar is going against Dennis Hildeby. Looking at your plays here on the money line, Flyers minus 120 home favorites, Leafs plus 100 on the road, total 6.5 on DraftKings. Although you can find some 6s out there. I have one at Bet Rivers and one at Caesars, and I'm going to take the over here. Both teams tend to go over more. 24-18 to the over for Toronto, 23-18 for Philly. Both teams would have gone over this total or pushed in 3 of their last 4. This is more, I think Philly can put the puck in the net behind Hildeby and get this to a 7 total. I know Vladar has been good, but I think regardless of who wins, I think we'll get over 6.
Wrong. So we are going to go with the under, actually.
All righty.
That's what we're going to go with. We just pumped Dan Vladar's tires. What are you doing slashing them here in broad daylight? Listen, I get that as hell. I get he's terrible. The Leafs are playing a little bit better. I will say that. They are playing a little bit better. On the road, they're not very good at scoring goals. And the Flyers are a low-action team. They don't give up a lot of shots. They don't take a lot of shots. They don't do a lot of anything really well, but they win. And they win low-scoring events. So I'm going to take Dan Vladar. I'm going to trust him. I just need Hildeby to not be terrible. That's it. If we could get this to like overtime, in a 2-2 game, like 20 shots apiece, both sides, that'd be fantastic. That would be. So that's
a 5.5 at FanDuel. Would you go under that plus 116, or do you want that 6?
Under 6.5 over on DraftKings Sportsbooks.
Minus 135. So you'll pay a little extra to get that hook.
You can take the 6 if that's what you'll get a push. But you're telling me both these teams are going to try to combine for 7 goals? Flyers aren't scoring that many goals.
We shall see. And what do we got here? Tony Rivers, any totals here?
Yeah, break the tie.
Yeah, I'm getting in the car. I'm looking back and getting ready to chauffeur Chris around here. I mean, nice. I gotta take the under here. as you mentioned, we just pumped up Dan Vladar. He's on my fantasy team, so I need him to have a good night tonight. And we're talking about a Maple Leafs team that can't score on the road against Vladar, who only gives up 3 or less goals. It's just appetite for success there for the Flyers. So I'm going to take the under 6.5.
Someone will be eating crow in the group chat tonight. I'm going to put that way. Yeah, that way. Is it going to be me or is it going to be them? We'll find out. One or the other. So we got the Devils at the Penguins coming up here, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Devils are 6-12-1 in their last 19. I'm sure Ant's very aware. Simone Nemec returning tonight, though. Malkin also coming back to the lineup tonight for the Penguins. Pittsburgh's on a 5-game winning streak. They haven't gotten 6 in a row since December of 2022. Sidney Crosby's got a 3-game multi-point streak, 7-game point streak overall. Going to be Stu Skinner for the Penguins. Haven't seen a confirmed goalie for the Devils yet. I would assume it's Jake Allen based on
after that 9-goal appearance from Markstrom.
I would assume. I don't know if you go back to a guy that quickly after that, but hey, maybe they want to build this confidence.
They're trying to sign a guy off the street. Be like, hey man, you have your gear. If you're in the parking lot over there in the Penguins, wherever their home arena is called, if you're in the parking lot, find the Devils attendant. You may be starting tonight.
You could rest Markstrom for a month after that performance there. I don't know if you guys saw. I think it was Gene on one of his fantasy teams. Gene has both Sorokin and Markstrom. So they were going up against each other. So he got the shutout for the Islanders, but then he got the giving up the 9 goals. So
4.5 goals against on the night. There you go. Not too shabby actually. So looking at this one, I got it at -110 on the money line. It's up to -112 now for the Penguins at DraftKings. Slight favorites there. Devils -108. I really feel like that it's a little fishy that they're not more of a heavy favorite considering that they're on the win streak they're on. The Devils have lost 6 of 8. I mean, we all saw what happened on Long Island on Tuesday. And yes, there's a little bit of to worry about with the whole, they got embarrassed, so they're going to bounce back in a big way. But no, not the way Pittsburgh's playing right now. The Sheilov Skinner alternation seems to be working in terms of a quality goaltending, at least for now. They'll probably get a little bit of another boost from Malkin being back in the lineup. So yeah, I'm Penguins money line all the way here.
Yeah, what did I miss? Like, did the Devils get good overnight? What happened? They got beaten up, and then they show up here. It was -110 for the Penguins. Okay, I mean, if you're gonna give me free money, I'll take it, right? And if they lose, then it's rigged, obviously. But it's just there's too many things that are working against the Devils here. Yes, they're probably going to play better, but playing better doesn't mean you'll win. You may only give up 5 goals, which would be an improvement. Maybe they score 1, but they still lose. Penguins are riding. They're hot right now. And Stuart Skinner's played better, and you get Malkin. So like maybe I'm missing information that those Vegas insiders have, but it's Penguins money line here. Not the mortgage, but like take out a second loan kind of thing.
I would also look at the under just because the Devils are going to make a very strong defensive effort tonight to not give up 9 goals. I mean, usually when you give up that many, you tend to, all right, we need to focus in our own end a little bit. So that would also get me to lean to the under 6.5, -125 at DraftKings. I could see a 6 at a couple of books. So it is coming down. Yeah, it's now, that's -130 now at DraftKings, actually.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with anything Devils right now, so I'm going to stay away.
Oh, believe me, I'm not touching the Rangers when we get to them in a couple of games. The Rangers at home against a Buffalo Sabres team, that's so, no, we'll get to that one later, but I ain't touching that one. Next up, Canucks at Red Wings. I am going to touch this one. It's going to be Kevin Lankinen versus John Gibson. The Canucks are on a 4-game winless streak and haven't won in regulation since last year, December 8th. We can make that joke still since last year, but it was December 18th. Red Wings are 12-4-2 since December 1st. Looking if you want to make any wagers on money lines or spreads or anything like that, -155 for the Red Wings, +130 for the Canucks on the road. Total 6.5. Red Wings on the puck line -1.5 +164. I'm going to go with the over 6.5 here. The puck line's tempting, but it was all the way up at 170 before, and I found that to be a little suspicious. Like, it would be a little bit. I felt like they were trying to tempt you into taking that one. So I think the over is a safer play here, and I get that at plus money, +105. Vancouver 25-17 to the over, and then 3 of their last 4. Maybe Detroit gets caught looking ahead to their upcoming matchups with the Habs, Canes, and Bruins. But the Canucks have only held an opponent to less than 3 goals only one time in their last 8. So, and when the Red Wings tend to put pucks in the net, they tend to do it in bunches. So,
imagine trusting Kevin Lankinen to do anything. I know John Gibson hasn't been fantastic, but he's winning games, and that's all that I care about. I will take the puck line. If you're going to give me that kind of spread, right, minus 155 to win, and then you're getting plus 165 if you add an extra goal to it. I don't see this game going to overtime. There's more than enough skill on the Red Wing side to score goals. Their power play is good, right? And the Canucks killing penalties is certainly a choice here. They don't have a good offense. Kevin Lankinen in general has not been very good this season. They have to play him because Thatcher Demko is not any better. So I will take the Red Wings to cover the puck line. There's more than enough value here. I can't trust Kevin Lankinen specifically on the road with that kind of penalty kill in front of him.
to you, Mr. Rivers.
Pass.
Passing
Pass
on
on.
Vancouver,
Yeah,
Detroit.
nah.
Listen, you got to be, like you said, you're being choosy today, and that's I respect that. Now, speaking of a game that I'm not going to be touching, Sabres at Rangers. So another a final of the 7:00 Eastern puck drops. Josh Stone's on a 3-game point streak. Logan Thompson's got 4 goals in 4 games against the Rangers. JT Miller expected to return. Artemi Panarin's got a 3-game multi-point streak and an 8-game point streak overall versus Buffalo. And Mike Sullivan could get to career win number 500 tonight with a victory. It's going to be Colton Ellis versus Jonathan Quick. I've got no desire to touch this one. I can make arguments for the over and the under. I'm not touching this one.
I will, because let's face it, the Rangers at home. that's just a recipe for disaster. I will take the Sabres straight up. I don't even care. Listen.
Minus 125.
I'll take them. That's okay with me. Let's go. Sabres wagon. They're actually relevant in a positive way for once. Jonathan Quick has been decent this year, but again, the team in front of him is providing him no help whatsoever. Adam Fox is back on LTIR. So I mean, what do you want from this team? You know what I mean? Rangers can't do anything on home ice. Colton Ellis, yes, he's getting the start. I would probably have felt better if it was anybody else, but Sabres are a wagon, so I'll sign up for that.
I am going to take the over 6.5. I have a feeling this has a 4-3 type feel to it. So, I'm not so confident in Ellis.
You think the Rangers are scoring 3 goals at home?
Maybe.
I think they can. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think they can.
Okay.
Ant's got, listen, Colton Ellis, let's see, what has he done? He's got a 3.25 goals against, 895 save percentage in 8 appearances this year. So the Rangers are going to get going against somebody. Maybe it's a guy like that.
Hey, man, better late than never.
Yeah. Listen, I hope you're right. At least if they lose 4-3, it's like, well, they got 3 at home. It's a step in the right direction. But,
yeah.
So we got an overplay and a Buffalo money line play. I'm staying away from this one for the same reasons Anthony is staying away from the Devils game tonight. I am going to go next up. We're past the halfway point, 7 games in the books. We are now in the 8:00 Eastern hour puck drops. We got the Islanders at the Predators. Steven Stamkos, 10 goals in his last 13 games. This is the first of a 7-game road trip for the Islanders. They went 6-1 on a 7-game road trip in November. So they were happy to be on the road right around Thanksgiving. We got David Riddick going against UC Saros. If you're looking to make any sort of wagers on that one tonight, the Islanders are plus 105 road dogs. Predators minus 125 home favorites. Totals 5.5 here. I'm going with the under. So the Islanders are 23-20 to the under overall this season, and 12-7 on the road to the under. David Riddick's been pretty strong over the last couple of months. 225 goals against, 916 save percentage, with an 8-3-2 record. Before Saros got lit up by the Oilers in his last game, the presumable starting goaltender for Team Finland has a 272 goals against, a 906 save percentage in his last 13 games, where he's gone 9-4. I think I think we're in for a game between two teams that are kind of near each other. Overall talent standings, that kind of thing. This is an even matchup here, so I think we get an under.
I agree with you. It may not be as high scoring, but I'm going to take the Islanders in regulation. You're going to give me plus money for the Islanders? I will take that. They've been a decent team on the road this season. Hadn't been bad. They also just spanked the Devils. Like, I get it's the Devils, right? But let's not pretend like the Nashville Predators or anything to be that are elite, right? Like that's not one of those things. I do believe this is a goaltending battle. I want to take it in regulation, but I just feel like this game has overtime written all over it. You probably skip, go straight to that, then 3-on-3. But the Islanders have proven that they can score goals. They can score goals. They are a good team, no matter who's in goal. They're strong defensively. Predators have been better. I just don't think it's enough to get past the Islanders. They're a much better team. That's what I'm taking.
Because the Islanders can score, I'm going to take the over 5.5. I know it's Saros, but let's have a little fun.
Okay.
Let's get a little crazy.
Spicy.
We got 2 games tonight where I'm dueling the direct duels for the total.
You saw 9 goals against the Devils. You're like, they can do the same tonight.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Come on.
You know.
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm going by the numbers. David Riddick's been okay. Okay, he hasn't been red light Riddick
maybe
this year.
if it was 6.5, maybe I would have been like, but 5.5, I feel like that's doable.
Listen, if Tony Rivers says over, it's, you know what I mean. It's over.
Listen, Tony Rivers he's the expert in that department. So, sometimes you're gonna go against Tony Rivers. And you hope it works out. We got another 8:00 Eastern puck drop, a little cross Canadian clash between the Oilers and the Jets. It's going to be Calvin Pickard versus Connor Hellebuck. Jets are on a 10-game winless streak, 0-6-4, and they've lost 12 straight 1 games. Connor McDavid on a 16-game point streak. He's got 15 assists in his last 10 games against Winnipeg. Looking on the money line here, on a minute because the site just went down on me. So looking at the total for this one, while I have that up, is 6. I'm going to take the Jets money line -105. And yes, total gut play here, but they haven't been getting blown out during this miserable streak. They're close to breaking through. Pickard has been terrible lately. Winnipeg has to win a game at some point. And maybe this is just a perspective from the other side of the border, but I feel like when 2 Canadian teams are playing each other, they get it up a little bit more for playing the other one. And if this isn't going to get Winnipeg going with Edmonton coming into your building, what's going to get you going? So, again, total gut play. They got to break through at some point. A Jets team, either in the NFL or the NHL, has to win at some point.
Listen, it might be the New York Jets because the Winnipeg Jets have 2 wins since December 1st. So
I know.
It's been a challenge. It's got to happen. Not tonight, buddy, though. Listen, I get that. I could care less who's starting in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, it's going to be Calvin Pickard. I understand what I'm getting myself into here, but I not only am I taking the over because there's no way this game is going to be a low-scoring event. Like Connor Hellebuck's doing his best. You know what I mean? He's showing up and he's trying, but his team is doing nothing for him. They're bad at everything. They can't score. They can't generate shots. They defend decent-ish. But Connor McDavid he's decided that he's going to be the best player in the world. It took him a minute. And then once the snow started falling, all of a sudden his point totals just exploded. I will take the over. I will also take the Oilers puck line here. We might need an empty net goal to get there, right? That's how it might go. But the Oilers beat them back in December, 6-2. That was in Edmonton. They also beat them in Winnipeg 3-1. That was the game where Calvin Pickard, basically almost stood on his head, if I remember correctly. They've covered it twice. If you're going to give me +2 something, and all I need is an empty net goal from a team that can definitely score goals. I know the Jets are on the road. I know the Oilers are on the road. Numbers are not as great, but who are the Jets going to deploy to stop McDavid? And then you have Draisaitl on line too. Like, I get Jonathan Taves used to be good, but that was a minute ago. I was younger. I didn't need to sleep as much. Now, Jonathan Taves and I are just old. So, good luck trying to slow down McDavid and Draisaitl, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, let's take the over here, 6.5. Come on.
There we go.
Oilers, Winnipeg, come on. Goals are going to be scored tonight. Let's go.
You don't think it's a little fishy that for all the reasons you stated with Edmonton, and they're only a minus 115 road favorite? That to me is a little fishy.
Understand it. Listen, Calvin Pickard is in goal. I understand what I'm signing up for. I'm signing up for a massive amount of heartbreak here. I am. Jets could win 5-1 tonight. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense because Calvin Pickard is starting.
Saw that coming. Even though I bet the other way, saw that coming.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, numbers are one thing. Actual reality is a different thing. I'm trying to where's Calvin Pickard's there? I'm trying to trust a goalie who's got an 873 save percentage and a 373 goals against average. I understand what I'm signing up for here. I'm just saying that Edmonton's offense is elite. And there's only so much Connor Hellebuck can do, man. The Jets just don't win. They will win at some point, but it's just not tonight. Please.
We shall see it tonight in Winnipeg. I'm trying to give the Jets something. All right, we got the Senators at the Avalanche. We got 3 games to go. This is the third of the 3, one of 3 remaining here. This is the lone 9:00 Eastern puck drop here. Ottawa's allowed the first goal in 7 straight. This is how you know you're having a good season, when it's noteworthy that Nathan MacKinnon hasn't had a point in 2 games. Oh my God! Sound the alarms. He went 2 games without any registering a point. Imagine. I mean, take him out of the Hart Trophy. Also, this is the first game of a 7-game homestand for Colorado here. Looking, see if we got the starting goaltenders for this one just yet. Scott Wedgwood for the Avalanche. Nothing for the Senators yet. They're showing Mad Sogard for the Senators here. Looking on to place a bet here. Minus 278 on the money line for Colorado, plus 225 for the Senators. Total is 6.5 here. Give me Colorado on the puck line. I got it at minus 110 earlier at DraftKings. I mean, Colorado against the spread this year is 23-19, but they're 13-6 to covering the spread at home. Ottawa's, I know they're an over team. They've had trouble scoring lately. Like last week when they played the Blues, and I covered the puck line bet. There was one of the easiest things I've ever made. I wish I had gone at 2.5. Tonight, this feels like an easy money to cover a minus a puck and a half here.
Yeah, this is the mortgage. I mean, the Senators are
this
playing
is the best bet.
Yeah, the Senators are playing the tail end of a back-to-back. Matt Sogard doesn't have great numbers in the American Hockey League. And hey, bud, welcome to the NHL this season. Your first matchup is against the Colorado Avalanche, who have lost 2 in a row, right? That's something they have not done all year. And like you said, Nathan MacKinnon had 10 shots in 2 games, did score a goal. So pissed off Nate comes home where he has been electric. The same thing as the Avalanche. Every team is going to have adversity. This is the adversity. 2 games, and we're like, oh no, what's going to happen? They're going to come out and spank the Senators. Just spank them from start to finish. And poor Matt Sogard is going to have to finish the game because, I mean, you're not bringing in Maryland to clean up the mess because he had to play yesterday. So this is Matt Sogard's game. It's going to be a long one. Welcome to altitude as well, not the network, literally where they play. I don't know. I know sometimes water is wet, but I actually got the Avalanche puck line because I bet this one earlier in the day at even money. And I was like, okay, you're minus 2 something and you're telling me 1 extra goal. I can't get that crazy value. I don't know where they thought the Senators were going to keep this close. I don't know what happens. I think maybe Vegas was asleep today. So I took advantage of a lot of spots.
If you wanted to go to minus 2.5, it's plus 145 at DraftKings for the alt puck line for the Avalanche.
It's not great.
The Avalanche score a lot of goals. We know that. And the last 2 games, they've only scored 3, which means they will be back in action tonight to score some goals against this Ottawa team at home. So I'm taking over 6.5.
And also, Ottawa is either the 4th or the 5th best team overall in terms of playing for the over. So, yeah, listen, I know we talked about how great the Colorado goaltending tandem has been this year. 7-3 still gets you home on a lot of things we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what tonight is shaping up to be. So
7-0 also gets you there, which is what we could see.
Yes, that'd also get you there. So 6.5 over for Ant, puck line for Chris and myself. We got 2 games to go here. We are finally in the West Coast window. Blue Jackets at Golden Knights, 10 o'clock Eastern puck drop. Zach Werenski, at least 1 point in 8 straight games, 7 goals and 8 assists in that span. Mark Stone's got a 5-game goal streak. It's going to be Jet Greaves versus Carter Hart, who can't stop a beach ball lately. Looking on the money lines for these teams, minus 142 for the Golden Knights. Blue Jackets are now down to plus 120. Total is 6.5. Now, I got them at plus 130 earlier. Vegas hasn't been at their best lately. Jet Greaves has been playing pretty well. This is a take a stab spot. I'm taking a stab on the Columbus Blue Jackets here, and I got it at plus 130 earlier.
Finally, something we can agree on together.
Yes,
absolutely.
Only
Carter Hart can't stop a beach ball. Homie is giving up 3 to 4 goals every start. And for whatever reason, the Vegas Golden Knights are running him out there. They're like, here, man, go again. Like, it's a good thing Aiden Hill is, I think he's skating, or he's getting, I don't know. He's somewhere, but he's getting closer because the Vegas Golden Knights need him. Nothing against Akira Schmid, but it's, they need their best goalie here. I will take the stab with you on Columbus. I feel like that is very generous to give Vegas almost minus 150 when Carter Hart has to tend the nets. Now, Columbus may not win, but I do believe, like you said, that this is a much closer matchup. If we're going to get Columbus at plus money, give it to me. I'll take it. And if they lose, they lose. Fine. But I'm not giving my hard-earned money to Carter Hart and that inability to stop the puck.
And the Golden Knights, for as much as we talk about the home ice advantage at the Fortress, 8-6 this year.
Yeah. Fortress falling apart.
Maybe the boat is an upgrade.
I want to stay away from this one.
Oh, it's been a while since you stayed away from one. So there you go.
Yeah.
So you would do for one. You're on a good run there. Blue Jackets at the Golden Knights. Also, by the way, Zach Werenski's going to score over 20 goals again. That doesn't get talked about. Like, just the fact that you have a guy on the blue line that just scores 20 goals every year. Like, no big deal. Just book it. Can't wait to
That's
watch.
why he was high in the fantasy draft this season. Wasn't he the second? Was he the second or third best defenseman?
Second defenseman, I want to say, taken. He was usually going right behind Quinn. No, third. Makar. You forget about Cale Makar because he's like in a class by himself. So I would say he was probably the third after Hughes in most strikes.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last game here. We got the Minnesota Wild at the Seattle Kraken, 10 o'clock Eastern. Minnesota's 9-3-1 all time against Seattle. Kraken have a 4-game winning streak and a 9-game point streak and find themselves in the top 3 in the Pacific Division. Didn't think we'd say that at this point, juncture in the season. It's going to be Jesper Wallstead going against Philip Grubauer. Looking on the money line here, Kraken plus 130 home dogs, Minnesota minus 155 road favorites. Totals 5.5. I've had a bunch of picks. This is a stay away spot for me here. I'd love to take the Wild. They are the better team, but Seattle's been playing well lately, and I don't want to go against them right now. They took it to Boston the other night, pretty good. They've been playing okay lately.
I'm actually going to take the over here. I do not trust the Kraken and their offensive abilities. I also don't completely trust their defensive abilities. This team is just they're hot right now. They're finding the back of the net. And for as well as Wallstead has played, in his last 5 starts, he's given up 3 or more goals 4 times. So there is a possibility here that he gets, that he gives up. The Wild have been on this crazy as well road trip, like because of the World Juniors being held in Minnesota. Like they had to play the Kings back to back games in LA. I was like, okay, I guess
just to kill time.
Play each other, go to the hotel, and then I don't know if there was a day off in between or something, but
there was a day off.
There was a day off. Hang out in LA and then replay them again. So this has been a long and grueling road trip. Like I get that they played out west a lot. It's probably,
7th and final stop for a Western trip that started Winnipeg, Vegas, San Jose, Anaheim, LA, Seattle.
Listen, if you're collecting the air miles, as an owner, you've racked up a bit here. So with the way the Kraken have been scoring and just the grueling trip from Minnesota and Wallstead giving up some goals here, if you're telling me both teams just have to combine for 6, I'll take it. I think maybe we need an empty netter to get there. Maybe like a 4-2 finish. But I will take the over here. There's enough to get me excited.
staying away.
It's very risky for me. Yeah.
No, I
too
didn't.
risky for
I didn't
me.
sell you on it, Ed. What do you? No.
You,
Okay.
you were getting there. I wanted to take the over, but every so often Wallstead could throw up a shutout here or there, and it is Seattle. They're on a 4-game win streak, and I don't know, man. I just they've scored what? They scored four goals, 5, 7. I think they're due to have a little bit of a clunker here at some point.
This is what I'll say. Oh, the Kraken are 24-17 to the under overall, 15-6 to the under at home, but Minnesota on the road 13-9 to the over. So that's the argument for Chris there. Kraken tend to, maybe if it was Joey Decord, maybe the underplay makes a little more sense there. But I'm not touching this one. I've given plenty of plays. This is one I'll probably watch later on.
Yeah,
winding down my night. But there we go. Just to recap our picks here from Wild Kraken, Chris has the over 5.5. We both have the money line on the Blue Jackets against Vegas. Ottawa at Colorado. Both Chris and I have the puck line. Ant's got the over 6.5. And Winnipeg, Ant's got the over 6.5. Chris has got the Oilers on the puck line and the over 6.5. I'm the only idiot taking the Jets money line. Looking at the Islanders Predators game, I'm going under 5.5. Ant's going over 5.5. Chris is taking the Islanders to win in regulation at plus 165. Sabres Rangers. Ant's got the over 6.5. Chris has got the money line for Buffalo. I'm not touching it. Canucks Red Wings. I've got the over 6.5. Chris has got the Red Wings to cover the puck line plus 170. Ant's not touching it. Devils Penguins. We're both on the Penguins money line. I'm also looking at the under 6.5 there. Ant's not touching. Then Maple Leafs at Flyers. Ant and Chris are under 6.5. I'm over 6. And then Anaheim at Carolina. I've got the Hurricanes puck line plus 115. Both of those guys, or I should put my head that way, are over 6.5. I've got the Bruins money line there. Nobody else is touching that one. And then in Panthers Canadians, Chris has the over 6.5 minus 135. Neither of us touching the other one. So there we go. A 12 gamer in the books. Good job, boys.
I don't see a losing pick on my end. I'm just saying that.
Say somebody's got a show.
So listen. We've had some disagreements, but someone has to be right. It's me.
We shall see, my friend. We shall see. I'm curious about the head-to-head games. Like those are the ones I'm always curious who had it right, who had it wrong. Now, the next Total Hockey Now, we'll be back with you Thursday, January 15th, back in our Thursday slot, at least until the Olympics, and then we'll reevaluate and see how we're going to adapt around that schedule. Chris, what do we got coming up on the Slapshot?
Slapshot podcast tomorrow. We are going to recap a little bit of the World Juniors and tell you why there's no reason to panic in Canada. I know we're not winning gold every year, but it's not because the program is terrible. It could be for other reasons. So you have to listen to find out why we can just take the chill pill. Everything's going to be okay. This isn't the end of the world.
And when he's not giving his picks out here, fantasyalarm.com/NHL, you and the great Josh Wagner doing work over there.
Josh is going to be very proud of me, though, because he was homering a lot of the Penguin stuff. And after reading a little bit about him, about his breakdown, I also read a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? Maybe he knows his stuff, which he does. So
brave man is a Penguins fan living in the nation's capital area. So there you go. And Subway to Shea podcast. What do we got coming up there?
Yeah, it's a really slow off season.
Baseball off season's the worst.
Oh my goodness. They call it the hot stove. It's more like the cold stove, maybe more colder than the Winter Classic. That's how cold it is right now. There's no one no big free agents are signing right now. There's still so many out there. And there's an article in The Athletic that I might touch on this week about the Mets' interest in Kyle Tucker and where they might go pitching wise, whether they'll go trade route or some of these starting pitchers that are left, but a lot of them have draft picks attached to them. So we will see how that shapes up. I really hope they sign someone so I can have something more to talk about, but it's been very slow the last couple weeks.
Might be talking about the Devils goaltending situation on the Subway to Shea podcast if things don't start to perk up soon on the baseball landscape. Rip and riff, myself and at Mr. Jared Moore. Gave your picks for wild card weekend earlier in the week. We'll be back with you on Monday doing football. It was all football this past Monday. We'll get back to football and hockey this week and all that fun stuff there. This was a fun one today, boys. We did a good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Great work. There we go. For this edition of Total Hockey Now, all the way down there at Ant Rivera 86, Anthony Rivera. Next to him at Fuzzy Chris 91, Christopher Merez. I'm at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Thanks for watching, whether you're watching live or later on. I always appreciate it. Give us a like, a subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Back with you next Thursday for another edition of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. Later, everybody.